little patrol. Doing my little patrol, I guess. Is what is it? Tuesday? Well, actually, it's Wednesday. Wednesday morning. Let's see, 3:55 Eastern Time AM, or 355 seconds military time. Yeah, I'm just doing my little rounds, my security guard rounds. Security. No, but I just want to talk about a subject. Kind of bored, kind of tired, so thought I would get on here. And I know I hardly get any views on here. It's so weird to me, like when I post like random, like the last video I posted on my YouTube. It was a short, actually. It was a joke. I was being kind of sarcastic. a video of me beating my meat. But I was just being, I guess, call myself trying to be funny. But it was a video of me like just tenderizing some steak. Because when you first get steak, it's kind of, if you don't marinate it, it's kind of tough. So you're supposed to either use a hammer or use some type of liquid that helps to kind of break the meat down and make it more tender. But I didn't really do that. I just kind of used they normally have like meat hammers, but I didn't have one, so I just used a can of garbanzo beans, so or chickpeas rather, which I was actually using as a protein supplemental protein. I'm kind of experimenting right now, to be honest, experimenting with different forms of protein. So I'm going semi-vegan, I guess, /vegan. I'm trying to just see like which diet my body kind of responds best to. So I'm kind of trying to experiment and see if just going completely meatless will, be best for my body, or just eating, very little meat. So, maybe like one thing of meat per day, or maybe like a couple times a week, or just not at all. So I'm kind of experimenting with different kind of diet. I was just going straight fruit, but vegan, but now I'm kind of just seeing like, okay, well, everybody's body isn't necessarily the same. Like some people's bodies that works well with. So I'm going back and forth. So I'm going to try to switch back and see like if just eating straight fruit, no dairy, works best for me, or eating very little meat, and mostly fruit and vegetables works best for me, because I'm not really sure. I've heard different things. So but anyway, not what this video was about. This video is actually about it's another dating topic. I want to actually talk about dating again, and I want to talk about how dating used to be, at least in my eyes, and what I feel like women. Oh shit. Shouldn't be in there. I want to talk about what I feel dating is missing today. What women are missing in dating. Why? Because as usual, I was watching a video and sorry y'all, and it was a YouTuber, and they were talking about how, you know, women, the good girl era is bad. I mean, it's gone basically, and the era where you could actually find a good woman is actually basically over. Basically saying that, you know, good women don't actually exist anymore. And so this is basically what this YouTuber was talking about. So it just made me kind of think about when women were, in my opinion, at least better when it came to actually having relationships with, and, you know, just in general being together with, basically. And to me, I'm not going to make it for long. I think it's very, very basic things that I think most women today lack. When I look on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and see what most women, or just, I'll just say relationships kind of seem to be, you know, it all just kind of seems to be strictly, you know, revolving um, purely, you know, a romance thing. You know, basically, it seems that what women seem to primarily offer to a man today is primarily like sexual, basically. It's sexual. And women, it seems that women feel like the only thing that men look for today when it comes to women is, you know, sexual, you know, gratification or pleasure. Which, don't get me wrong, you know, we do. But so do women as well. Both men and women enjoy having sex. Let's just keep it a buck, right? Okay, so nobody's denying that. But I think the problem is the narrative is that that is strictly all that men look for in relationships in women, you know. And there was once upon a time where women used to actually be a friend first in a relationship and a lover. You know, you actually used to have a friend, a partner in a friendship, and you had a lover. Or if you were married to somebody, you know, y'all were friends as well as lovers. It wasn't just only just like sleeping together. And when we're not fucking, you know, we just tolerate each other. You know, it was actually a real relationship. It was actually a real friendship. And it's almost like it seems like women have lost the ability to be friends with the man that they're with. It's strictly romance. It's strictly sexual. It's, you're not even really friends with this person. If you're not truly this person's friend, you know, how can you truly care about them? Like, how can you truly love them? And this is why I feel like most men kind of, even if it's subconsciously, have just kind of checked out of, you know, taking any type of dating or relationship with a woman seriously, because we just realize, and I feel like most women, they don't have the ability to even form a real connection with a man, anything deep or long lasting. You know, they've lost the ability to what some would call a pair bond with a man. Like they can't do it. A lot of men just feel like most modern women, they're not dateable. They're undateable, right? They're they're not. It's not possible to have anything real or deep or long lasting with the woman of today, because honestly, they don't want that. Most women don't even want anything real. It's just most women, from what it seems at least, they're strictly looking to see what they can get from a man. And a lot of women, they'll say, well, you know, well, men, they want sex. And here's the thing, y'all. When it comes to like sex or whatever, like, I hate when women use that excuse, because it's just like, first of all, he's not getting sex from you. Y'all are both giving each other sexual gratification or pleasure. It's not like he's using you for sex. Like, you're getting pleasure and he's receiving pleasure, or vice versa. You're not using, nobody's using anybody. You're both enjoying sleeping together. So, like, this whole idea of, women saying that, they're giving a man sex or, sexual favors because they want something from him. Like, no, y'all are both getting an equal exchange of pleasure. So it's not like you're giving him something that he's just receiving. Like, he's giving you something too. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the whole thing is like, especially like if he's good at it, you know what I'm saying, or she's good at it, you're both receiving, anyway. So that whole argument to me is just fucking retarded. Like, when women say stuff like, "Oh well, I'm giving him pussy, so he owes me, or that's why he should give me money." It's like, no, it don't work like that. That whole mindset is so stupid, because you're both giving each other something of equal value. So anyway, like I was saying, kind of lost my thought a little bit, but most women have lost the ability to see most men as anything more than, a tool, something to extract resources and, time or some type of currency from, you know. And I just feel like most men, oh hell, this door's open. I feel like most men, they realize that now. And I feel like that's basically why, you know, I see videos of a lot of men talking about how, you know, they don't want to date anymore. How women are just basically, I forget whose channel I was watching, but I see these things come down my timeline a lot, actually, when I'm just kind of scrolling on YouTube, because when I'm here at work, it's quiet out here. I'm just sitting here. I'm not doing nothing. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I don't got shit going on 8 hours straight, 5 days a week. So I do a lot of scrolling because I'm just bored, or I'm trying to stay awake, and I just ain't got nothing else better to do. After I start my truck driving job, I'll be driving, so I won't be scrolling as much, but, while I'm here, it's kind of shit I do. But anyway, a lot of men are just saying that they don't want to date anymore because it just seems like, what's the point? Like, what is the reason to date? Most women just seem like they are demanding things from men, and men don't really feel like that what they're demanding, they're getting an equal reciprocate, what's the word? An equal exchange of what they as men are being expected to give a woman. Saying that most men, they're expected to provide and to protect, but it just seems like nowadays a man can give his best years, his money, his time, his energy. He can work and, become successful. And, he can basically give a woman a great life, and a woman can basically kind of reap the benefits of all that man's hard work. And then one day she can just kind of wake up for absolutely no reason and be like, I'm not happy anymore. I want a divorce. And so most men, including myself, they're seeing that you can be a successful man, you can be hardworking, you can do all the things that society told you that you were supposed to do as a man, and you can still basically end up losing what you thought was a good woman, And again, it's almost like I feel like women don't actually want good men. Like, they say that they want good men, but good men, they actually have standards for, how they expect treated. In other words, like, if you are a real man, you're probably going to be the kind of guy that's not okay with, how can I say this, your girlfriend or your wife hanging around a bunch of random dudes. And what does that mean? If your girlfriend is hanging around, or wife is hanging around a bunch of random men, there's a good chance that a lot of these guys, they're just there basically because they're waiting for, not all, I'm not saying all, but the majority of the time, they're waiting for the opportunity to get laid. I'll be honest, like, there have been very few times when I was hanging around a woman that I didn't want to sleep with. This is why I don't like dating women that say that they have lots of guy friends. If I'm dating a woman and she's like, and I'll be honest, like, most of the women I've dated, they've all been like, oh yeah, well, I don't really have, girls as friends. Like, they've all said that in the past. They've all said that they don't, believe in having female friends. Just coincidentally, none of them can get along with females. Now, when I talk to somebody and they say that, they don't like to have women as friends, I run. I run because I'm like, me as a man, if I'm hanging around a woman, more than likely, I'll say on a regular basis, and assuming this isn't like a business type relationship, if I'm hanging around a woman on a regular basis, I'll probably find her attractive and I probably want to fuck her. I'm just keeping it a buck. Now I'm not saying like, there's not certain situations or circumstances that could, there could be certain situations where, there'd be reasons why, but typically if I'm hanging around a woman on a regular basis, it's not to be her friend. It's just not. For example, I used to hang around this white chick. This is years ago when I had my first apartment. And, originally when I met her, that wasn't the case. But the more I hung out with her, I'm like, she kind of cute, you know what I'm saying? She got a little ass on us, you know what I'm saying? Like, then the idea, it kind of just popped in my head. Because at first, it was more like a neutral thing. Like, the more I hung out with her, I'm like, yeah, I found her like kind of sexually attractive. So I'm like, okay, I kind of want to fuck this chick. And we used to like hang out like all the time. Like, she was staying at my apartment and stuff like that. There was one time where I'm not lying about this, y'all. I'm being dead ass serious. Why this girl did this, I don't fucking know. She was on my bed, in my bed, and for some reason, like, she was telling me how she had some nipple piercings, right? And she was like, her nip piercings, I guess they had gotten red or something like that. And she was like, yeah, look at them. They're irritated, they're swollen or something like that. And I was like, oh wow. This girl actually lifted up her shirt and showed me her titties basically. Like where her nipple rings, I guess, had gotten like irritated or something like that. And you know, looking back on it now, I think she did want me to fuck her, but she was one of them type of girls where she was kind of waiting on me to make the first move. And back then, I was a little bit more, I ain't gonna say I was scared, but I didn't really know how to initiate, that type of, sexual encounter. I just didn't know. Like, now I probably just be like, take a shirt off, start sucking on. Anyway, back then I was just more inexperienced, just with reading and knowing like when women wanted to get fucked, basically. And I told a guy I was working with at the time, I was like, yeah, man, this chick I'm friends with, I was like, yeah, I kind of like him. I don't know what to do. And then when I told him that happened, he was like, man, I should smack the shit out of you. You should have fucked the shit out of her. He was like, she was probably trying to get you to fuck her, but she didn't do anything. And I was like, oh, seriously? He was like, yeah, like, why would a woman be in your bed, and then show you her titties, basically? And see, you can see how, like, even he didn't even know her, was like, yeah, like, as a man and a woman together in a bed, first of all, hanging out on a regular basis, he was like, yeah, that should have led to something sexual. Anyway, my whole point is, she was, on paper, in public, we were friends, but I wanted to fuck her. And I probably could if I was a little bit more experienced. And she was like way older than me at the time. I think at the time I was like maybe 23 or 24. And I think she was like at least like 30 or 31 at the time. But she was cute though. And I found her attractive. And again, I think she wanted to get fucked, but when I didn't like make a move, she got kind of turned off because, a lot of women, if they feel like you're passive, it kind of like just ruins the mood and the whole vibe gets messed up. So like when I didn't just try to fuck her instantly, she's just like, well, never mind. Because as a man, like, I don't know why in the world a woman would just show you her titties if she wasn't trying to like arouse you. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Anyway, my point is, typically, if I'm hanging around a woman on a regular basis, I probably want to fuck her. And if you have a real man or husband or boyfriend in your life, he's not going to want men around you on a regular basis if he's not around, because he knows men, basically. He understands how men think. He understands how men operate. Now, most people today, most of society today, they would say that, that's possessive, that's controlling. I'm like, listen, call me whatever you want to, but that's my beliefs. One thing I realized is I'm not changing my standard in how I view dating or, how I think a relationship should be for anybody. I'm not settling. I'm not going to allow somebody to change, just what I think is, acceptable for dating or, marriage or anything like that. I have my standards, and, I'm not going to allow anybody to make me settle for the type of relationship that I don't think is right or acceptable. There's a lot of guys that allow people to, dictate to them what is normal, not normal when it comes to dating. Hold on one second, y'all. But yeah, there's a lot of people that allow society in general to, kind of define for them what is normal and acceptable in a relationship. There's a lot of people that will say, "Oh well, you should be okay with your girlfriend or your wife being around other men or her guy friends." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not." Like, you can do what you want to do. You can. I'm not going to try to control you and tell you what to do, but I just don't want. I won't date you. You can find somebody else that's okay with that. I'm not changing my boundaries and my standards to simply make a person happy. I'll come halfway, but I'm not going to say, well, you like this, so to make you happy and to be with you, I'm going to allow that. It's just like, no, like that to me, that's disrespectful to a marriage or to a relationship. So, if we're not on the same page with that, then we're not compatible. It's that simple. When it comes to dating nowadays, um, when it comes to dating nowadays, like my standards are in many ways a lot stricter because of what I've been through, what I've seen, and the level of disrespect that I've experienced in some relationships. It's just like once I see, certain types of behaviors, I'm just like, I'm out. Like, I don't even, you know, let it get to a point to where it's it does something to me where I end up where I end up in a situation where I get hurt or something. It's just like, no. Once I see certain behaviors and traits, I'm out. I end a relationship. I just don't have any time for, you know shit that at this point in the game, like, we as men and women, we should know like what's acceptable and what's not acceptable when it comes to dating somebody. So my standards in dating and relationships are just like, I'm not, and I don't even want to say strict, but I just know like what I'm not willing to deal with anymore. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm not looking for, and I'm just not settling with being treated, because I had to go through a whole lot. I had to experience. I think a lot of men experience a lot to where they get to the point to where okay, I let a lot of stuff slide. I let a lot of stuff. I allowed myself, and some of this stuff was actually my fault, because people can only do to you what you allow them to do. So if you don't, if you don't allow certain things to happen to you, um, you know, they can't happen. If you just take yourself out of the situation, people can't do things to you. So a lot of times, we allow ourselves to be in situations to where we give people the space and opportunity to do things. Like my last relationship. Looking back on it now, love the girl to death, but I should have never been with that girl. When I first met her, her lifestyle was completely different than who I was as a person. Crazy ass white girl. She was, she had good qualities about her, but at the same time too, like, I should have known that we just weren't compatible. Like, she really was not the type of girl that wanted to be in a committed relationship, and I should have been smart enough or wise enough to see that and not think that, oh well, she'll want to be that for me now. And I'll say this, like when I deal with a woman now, it's like if I see that she's not relationship material, or I say this, if you as a man see that a woman is not relationship material, like recognize that. Like don't assume that, she'll become that for you. Like when how you meet a woman is typically who she is. If you meet a woman and she's out riding the streets late at night, drinking and driving at the same time, just kind of running the streets, that's probably the lifestyle that she lives. That's probably who she is. If you when you meet a woman and you just you're a guy that goes to work, you pay your bills, you're just trying to figure life out. You're not perfect, but you do pretty much basic shit. You go to work, you come home, you pay your bills, and you try to save some money up, and you go from there. If that's the if that's the type of man that you are when you meet a woman, or a woman meets you, I feel pretty safe in saying that that's who you are as a man. So you know who people are or how people are when you meet them. That's who they are, and it's a very simple concept. But a lot of times what we do is both men and women is we'll create a version of a person in our mind, and then we'll kind of place that version of that person over who they actually are, showing us who they already are. And that's the mistake that I made. You know, that's just what it is. That's what I did, and I had to recognize that I'm doing that. And it's like now, every now and then, still I'll kind of find myself falling back into that trap of like I'll see a woman, maybe her sexual appeal is really high, but she doesn't really have any other qualities that I look for in a woman. Like her sex appeal is just super super high. And I gotta remind myself like that's not what you really want though. It's nice to, a woman that she has a sexual air about her, but then it's not, because if she's putting off that kind of like sexual air, it's not just to me. It's to everybody. It's to all the men. It's one thing if she's giving off that sexual energy towards you, but more than likely, if you sense that a woman is very sexual in her nature, she's not just sexual for you, she's sexual for lots of men. And my thing is, when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, I'm looking for exclusivity. I don't want to share my partner. I don't want to, be swapping partners and shit. I want to be with one person. I'm looking for a partner to spend my life with. I don't want to, in other words, I'm not looking for something casual, which is us getting to be very uncommon today. Most people just today are looking for sexual experiences. I'm not saying you have to necessarily get married, but in a classical sense. But I look for someone to spend my life with. I'm not afraid to say it. Most people are ashamed to say that because they think that it's. I don't know. I don't know what they think it is, but like today, it's like it's almost get to a point to where it's looked down upon if you say I'm looking for someone to share my life with, because nobody believes in that anymore. And most women, they don't even have the ability to connect with a man that deeply today. Again, it's all purely, sexual. It's not any other real deep connection. I don't believe that women can genuinely deeply connect with a man. Like they can't do it. You know, again and again, most women, they don't know how to be friends with a man. Like if you're dating a man, if you are with a man, you should not just be his romantic partner. You should not just be his lover. When I say lover, I mean like somebody you're sleeping with, someone you having sex with. Like if you're with a man, you should not just be his lover. You should be his friend too. Like men and women that used to be in relationships, like they used to actually be friends and lovers. And I feel like marriages and relationships, that's going like we lost that. Like somewhere along the way, everything became, purely status based and status driven. Everything became like uh superficial. Everything became, just um, transactional. There's no real element of like, again, there's no real friendship in the relationship. It's all just, well, I'm with her because she's a baddie, or for the woman, I'm with him because he's successful, or he looks good, or he's tall. It's not because, no, they're my friend. This is my friend as well. Like you rarely ever see couples or marriages where they have a really good strong friendship, because that's what it's supposed to be. Like when I mean, this is how I look at it. Like the more stronger y'all's friendship be, the better y'all's love life should be. Like the better y'all's sex should be. So the stronger y'all's connection is, like the better y'all love life should be. That's how it's supposed to be. But now, like everything is just kind of dry because like everything is like 80% transactional, and 10% like, or like, I don't know, like 70% transactional, 10% status, and then 10%, you know, oh well, I kind of said 70. But yeah, 80% transactional, 10%, status, and then like 10% like, you know, superficial, meaning like, okay, this is how we look to other people in society together. He has a higher paying job than my ex or everybody else in the neighborhood. So like we're just better. It's like, do y'all even like really like each other? Like, why did y'all get together? Like, what do y'all have in common? Like, if he lost his good paying job, if he lost his, Ferrari or this, Bugatti, and for some reason had to go back to driving a Honda, would you still want to be with him? Would you still feel the same way about him if he had to work his way back up from the bottom? Would you still want to be with this same guy, or are you only with him because, where he's at right now? You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't the tallest guy or the best looking guy, would you still be with him? Like shit like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, do y'all have anything like deeper than just the outside superficial? I got the car. I got the. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like dating and relationships is missing. It's missing all the stuff that's actually supposed to actually matter. Uh, Looks like I got a comment here. Says, yo, yeah, standard relationship is preferred. I mean, I believe in old school love. I believe in how things used to be, because old school love is when you know again, when a man and a woman used to actually be together because they actually loved each other, not just because they liked having sex, but I mean that too, but they were actually like friends that actually had a real close connection outside of just, oh well, he pays the bills. Like, yeah, granted, a woman does expect a man to handle stuff and to take care of stuff and fix stuff, and I get that, but it wasn't like she wasn't just with him to use him. Now I seen a video yesterday where this woman on TikTok, she was like, it was a woman, and she was like, she had horses, and the first thing she said was, I wish that I had a man, um, basically to help me do this work. In other words, not because I want to meet somebody to spend time with and get to know and to, develop a close relationship. No, she wanted to meet a man because she wanted a man to do the work that she didn't want to do herself. Right? She didn't say to actually. She didn't say for companionship. She didn't say, to maybe help me grow or to, help open up my heart or something. No, she just wanted help doing work specifically. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like most women today, they just want men for utility. They want men to use. They want men to extract things from. Rather it's just again time, money, resources, trips, food dates. They don't want an actual man to actually uh uh they're not looking for men to actually have a close connection with. They're just looking for men to get things and extract things from. This is how I feel. This is how I see it. Most men today, not all, most men that are balanced, mentally and spiritually balanced, they're looking for somebody to actually spend their life with. They're looking for a woman that's solid. When I say solid, I mean someone that is actually on the same page with them, someone to actually, yes, have a family with, maybe build something with. He probably already has his own thing going, but maybe see, with her coming into his life, okay, like what can, just a woman being in your life can actually inspire you to do even better than what you're already doing. This is what I feel like a lot of men today are missing. A lot of men like, yeah, they got a job, they go to work, they saving money. They may be already working towards something, but I feel like this. I feel like when you have a good woman in your life that's, loyal and committed, I feel like that just does something for a man. Like it makes him go harder. Like, again, most like, being single doesn't mean that, you don't have any ambition, but I feel like you don't have as much ambition and drive as you would have if you had, a woman or a wife that was good and was solid, basically, or if you had a family or, you already did have a family and wife. I think a lot of men today, they're missing that. I think that's what makes the most successful men. And a lot of men today, like I said, they're still doing what they have to do in their lives. They still have a job and they're still working and moving forward in their own personal life. But it's not, in my opinion, it's not in the same way that they would be if they had someone good in their life. I'm not saying that it should be all about a woman, but I do feel like men, move with more purpose. They're more forward motion moving when they have a woman in their life or children or kids. And that's just my opinion. Because they have a reason to do it. And it's like, yeah, of course you want to do it for yourself. But I hear so many people say, okay, well, yeah, my purpose is, my kids or, my family. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I hear a lot of people say that, you should have your own purpose. And I don't think a lot of people have purpose. It's like, first of all, how could you even know what your purpose is? Like, I feel like purpose is made up by most people, you know? Um, so when people say, oh, you have to have a purpose, it's just like, you don't have to. Not really. Like, a lot of times you just need money to do shit, And there may be shit you just want to do. Like, for example, like I'm going on vacation next week. I need money, so like I have to like have a job to like go on vacation. I don't necessarily want a job, but the purpose of me having a job is to be able to do things like go on vacation. You know, um, so like your purpose can just be to enjoy life. Everybody makes it seem like having a purpose has to be something serious and heavy. It's like it don't have to be serious. Your purpose could just be enjoying life in general. You know, like when you come into this life, into this existence, like, you know, just the simple fact that you are experiencing life, in my opinion, like the only real purpose of life is to exist and to live. You know, no matter how good or bad things get, the purpose of your life is to live. There's no right or wrong way you can do that. There's no right or wrong way to do that. The purpose of life is to simply live. So when I hear somebody say, um, what the purpose of life is, I'm just like, oh man, let me see. My bad, I'm trying to see something, y'all. Hold on. Let's see. Uh, uh, my bad. I was checking the weather forecast. Checking the. I'm sorry, y'all. I got OCD. Like, I'm sorry. I was like just checking the weather forecast because I'm supposed to be going to Myrtle Beach this. Well, I am going to Myrtle Beach this Sunday. And Bike Week is actually going to be this week coming up. So I was. I apologize. We got a comment here. Who is this? Uh, it says a time for judgment. The time for judgment says lots of people actually have a predator or primal mindset. To them, life is about taking other people's energy, resources, time, being top of the food chain. Uh, Lots of people have a predatory mindset. It's about yeah. I mean that's true. That is true. I felt that a lot. That's why you have to be aware. You have to be mindful. You have to just be conscious. That's why I'm really careful. You got to be careful. You gotta really pay attention to you know the people that you deal with. Like that's the biggest thing. You have to be aware of who you're dealing with. Before I used to just allow just anything and everything, but now I'm like nah. Like if the way you're moving, I don't feel right. Like I'm like I'm really quick to I don't want to say I'm quick to walk away, but if you're doing something that in a pit of my stomach that just feels like wrong, and like I can really like a person, I can think they're really attractive. Um, if you waste my time, like the last chick I was trying to talk to, like bad, like fine as hell, but like I felt like she was wasting my time. So like I stopped talking to her. I blocked her. Like she was probably one of the finest women I ever talked to, but I felt like she was disrespecting my time, and I don't like women that disrespect my time. Like I feel like if you disrespect, whether you're a man or woman, a person's time, that you don't respect them. You're basically telling them how you really feel about them. Um, like I'm just really careful with anybody that I allow in my life. Is that simple. So yeah, I can't take it slow or have people use my time. I'm not saying take it slow. You don't gotta necessarily take it slow. I mean, if y'all on the same page, y'all want the same thing, but at the same time, like I want to get to know a person. Like I mean, typically, I want to get to know a person enough to even decide if I want to sleep with them. Now granted, like I might want to sleep with them, but I don't believe in just sleeping with anybody and everything just because I think they're attractive. Like I don't believe in that. Even if I might want to, I want to actually know like who I'm dealing with because again, I don't want to. My thing is, I don't want to lose the ability to connect on a deep level with a person or my person. Some people that don't matter to them.
So they're like, yeah, I'll fuck anybody and everything that I find attractive. But for me personally, I feel like if you sleep with too many people, like you don't have the ability to connect with one person. Like you're gonna want to just, you know how some guys they just sleep around and sleep around. It's like if that's your lifestyle, if that's what you like, that's cool. But if you're a person that's wanting to basically find that one person for you to share your life with, to spend the rest of your life with, then I don't think that's necessarily what you want to do. It all depends on like what you into. If you just don't have any intention of being with a person for the long haul, then that worked for you. It all depends on like what your intention is. This if I take it slow. I mean, if they're slow to open up, slow to communicate, slow to actually grow, I don't bother. Uh, yeah, I mean it's that's tricky because like, well, no, not necessarily tricky, but I get what you're saying. I think it's about effort. It's about effort. If it's consistent effort, like my thing is, I don't expect nobody to be perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. There's a difference between somebody actually showing consistent effort and then somebody that's just kind of like just doing the same shit. Nothing's changing. Nothing's getting better. Even if it's small improvements, I can work with that. But if you just basically like, I don't care, like this is just how I am. This is how I am. Like I'm not changing for nobody. I can't work with that. Like I can't. Like a lot of women, they're just like, this is just how I am. Guys, they do this for me. I'm like, well, I don't care. Let them do it. I'm not. If you don't care enough to actually try, then I don't care enough to give a fuck. I don't care what guys are doing for you and what they did for you. Like if you don't care enough to put some effort in, if I'm trying to change, you can at least try to change. Like I'm a stubborn person, but if I really like somebody, I'm going to at least fucking try. Like if I'm not going to try, I obviously don't fucking like you like that. So what I hear is when a person is saying like this is how they are, what I hear is I just don't like you like that. If I did, I would at least try. That's my cue to just be like, all right, well, on to the next type shit. If somebody's not willing to put the effort in to meet you halfway, and that was my whole thing with my last relationship. It's just like I felt like I was at least putting the effort into going halfway, and they were just like, "Well, this is just how I am, and I'm not changing for nobody." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. Well, bye." What the fuck do I look like? Trying to better myself and to be the best version of myself for a person that I'm supposedly with, when they're basically telling me that I don't care enough about you to try to do better. The old me would have accepted that as normal, but the new me is like, no. I'm not going to allow someone to make me feel like that and basically tell me that I'm not enough to actually try, because that's what it is. Like it's a slap in the face if someone's basically telling you that I'm not willing to try. So hell no, fuck that. Be with somebody that's willing to try as much as you're willing to try. If y'all both want it, if y'all both want to be together, then be with somebody that shows it, not just says it. It's easy to say, "Oh, I want to be with somebody," or "I care about somebody," but are they reciprocating that and showing it to the same extent that you are? If they're not doing that shit, then fucking cut it. It's a waste of energy. Like relationships to me are so fucking easy now. Like dating is easy. It's like if they're not talking the talk, then walk the walk. Like somebody, they want to show you who they are. That's like a lot of guys, they'll meet women in clubs and then they'll be surprised when she wants to be in a club every weekend. It's like, my nigga, you met her in the fucking club. She's a club girl. Like, how you mad? Like, it'd be different if I met you at the fucking library. But like, if I met you in the club, like that's your natural habitat. So I can't be surprised when we get in a relationship and then you like, bye babe, I'm going to the club with my girls. It's like I can't say shit because I met you in the club. I already knew who you were. So like you gonna probably be in the club every weekend, 9 times out of 10, getting hit on by other guys, and you probably will end up cheating because you in the club. That's what you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying you can't, and that's something I had to learn too. Like when you meet somebody, you can't put on or project onto them, you know, the way you see them in your mind, like the way you see them, the way the person that they actually are when you met them, that's who they are first. How they present themselves to you in a relationship, that's kind of like a mask. That's not who they actually are. You know, it's really really convincing, but if you meet me, if I'm a drug dealer, a robber, some really fucked up individual when you meet me, like I'm not going to become like this perfect boyfriend like after we get in a relationship 2 days later. It's like, nah, like if you met me and I was a drug dealer and a gangbanger, nigga, I'm a drug dealer and a gangbanger. Like that's who I was when you met me. Like that shit didn't change. I might like be nicer because I'm with you and stuff like that, but no, like you knew what it was, but when you met me, it's like that. You can't change people. People are not going to change just because they start dating you. I had to learn that shit the hard way. I didn't realize that. I thought that, by being with somebody good or someone that treats them good, they'll be like, oh yeah, I want to be like this. I want to be a good girlfriend back. It's like, it don't work like that. It very rarely ever works. So basically, my main point of this video, of this live was, like I was saying in the beginning, what I feel like most relationships and dating is missing today, and what women don't really realize is, and what men are missing from their partner is like, men and women, they used to be that, I'm talking about in a relationship, they used to be friends, not just like dating partners, not just like, serially dating people, like they used to, and that's why people, like, it's so easy nowadays to just break up and go to the next person because there's not really anything real there holding the relationship together. It's nothing really there. It's like, yeah, y'all fucking, yeah, y'all may look cute together. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, y'all a cute couple, whatever, but it's like, as far as like y'all and y'all actual dynamic together, y'all actual connection, it's like, y'all not even really friends like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tolerate each other. Sex may or may not be good. You know what I'm saying? Might be good, might not be good, might be mediocre. Who the fuck knows? But it's basically strictly physical. And this is why cheating is easy. Cheating is easy when you don't really care about the person you're with. If you really have a good friend that you really care about, like, do you really want to hurt them? Like, do you really want to break your best friend's heart? Do you really want to, cause that person pain? And if you do, are you at least going to have some level of, are you going to have some level of empathy? Let's say you are a guy's best friend and you're dating them, or girl. If y'all are really friends, if y'all just have to break up for some reason, you're going to at least do it in a way that's like not just heartbreaking. Like you just destroy this person's mental. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say I'm dating a girl and like, it's for whatever reason, it's not working out, whatever. If I really am friends and lovers at the same time with this woman, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to do this dirty. I'm not going to do her dirty. I'm going to at least respect her enough to actually do this the right way. But typically, when you really have love for somebody, like, it's a lot less likely that it's not going to work out because the whole relationship is built on a real strong foundation. It's built on respect. It's built on trust. It's built on friendship. It's built on, companionship. It's built on, like, openness and vulnerability. It's built on all the things that, old school lovers used to have when it came to, living and growing old. Nobody grows old together anymore. Everyone thinks that's lame. Everybody thinks that's boring to be with the same person. Everyone thinks that's, old, and no one does it like that anymore. Everybody just kind of casually dates. And again, y'all, like I said, y'all, I understand that everyone has a different lifestyle. I'm talking about the people that want to be with a person that look for exclusivity. If you don't look for exclusivity, this video probably doesn't apply to you. This is not for you. This is not something that you would probably believe in. So I'm not talking to you. If you are kind of like the type of person, let me say, this is, I don't plan getting married, and I have kids, probably won't stay with the baby mama. I don't plan to get married, and if I have kids, probably won't stay. That's what I'm saying. It all depends on like what you're looking for. If you're not looking for that, then then that's what you're not looking. But if I'm talking again, that's why I say if it's what you're looking for, if you're looking for exclusivity, then this video is for you. But if you're not looking for, if you'd like to date around, then you probably won't really relate to what I'm saying. Me personally, I'm old school. I don't want to date around. I've never wanted to just date around. My whole thing is I've always wanted to just find my one person, and that was it. And again, I that's what I believe in. That's what makes sense to me. That is what I resonate with. I don't resonate with polygamy and that type of stuff, that type of lifestyle. It's just I can't relate to it. My parents have been together their entire marriage. My father has never stepped out on my mother, and vice versa. So I mean, that makes sense to me. It doesn't to me. To me, I feel like this. If I need to sleep with multiple people, what's the point in even dating? Like if I just want to sleep, like if I want to sleep with multiple women, I'm like, I might as well just stay single. And maybe that's what, most people today are saying. Like, I'll just stay single. Like, just be single. Like, my thing is, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with people that just want to sleep around. My problem is I have a problem with people that just want to sleep around and be polygamous, and they intermingle with people that are looking for exclusivity. Like, if you know that you want that kind of like polygamous lifestyle, don't intermingle with somebody and have somebody thinking that you want something, for the long haul, or you want to live your life. In other words, if you know you a person that likes to sleep with multiple people, and you don't want to commit, you don't want to be married or live your life with one person, like that's that's none of my business. That's your life. My problem is when they mix with people that they know want that. If you know a dude wants to have a family and grow old with a woman, like if you know you just like sleep with a different dick every couple of months, leave that nigga alone. Go find your swinger boyfriend or swinger girlfriend or whatever the fuck y'all, who the fuck knows. Go find them people and fuck with them people. Leave the people that's actually wanting to, have a wife exclusively or a girlfriend exclusively. That's my issue. I don't care what people do. I don't care what people's lifestyle is. The problem is the wrong people are getting with the wrong people, and you're fucking these people up. That's my issue. I don't have a problem with people that live their life and do what they want to do. It's not my business what you do, how you do it, and who you do it with. I'm not going to sit here and try to force my lifestyle on my body because I want to get married or I want to be one person. Like, no, that's not for everybody. But at the same time, too, I don't want to deal with a woman that's painting a narrative or a picture that she wants the same thing that I want, and lo and behold, she really wants to be fucked by multiple guys. She wants to be ran through. She wants to, she wants to go to swinger orgies and stuff like that. Like that's my issue. That's my issue. Like I never told you that I was into any of that shit. I shouldn't have to do that to make you happy or satisfied in a relationship. Like no, you go find you a nigga that's into orgies and sharing wives and girlfriends and shit like that. Don't bring that shit into my world. Like in my world, that's not something that I gravitate to. It's not something that I desire or want. And I'm not changing that for nobody. Because that's just not who I am. Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying like that's just not who I am. That's not something that I want to do. So yeah, you know, you got to know who you are, and you have to know what you want. You have to know what you're looking for, and don't let people change who you are because you want to make them happy. It's like if you know that you don't want to do that, it's not something you don't want to do, then just let that be what it is. Like you said, like I can't change you, and you can't change me. They can't change you, and you can't change them. It's as simple as that. If everybody would just kind of get in where they fit in, make sure that the person that you dealing with or that you're talking to, make sure that y'all are on the same page when it comes to what you're actually looking for and want in a relationship. If y'all are looking for different sexual experiences, that should be something that's out and known in the very first interactions. Like, okay, yeah, I want something serious. Nah, I just wanted to get fucked from time to time. I just want some casual. Like, that's the conversation people need to start having. Because then there's no, miscommunications. There's no, failed expectations. Like, you already know what this was. We already talked about this. You knew exactly what I was looking for. So, it's no problem. So, it's all kinds of people in this world, y'all. There's all kinds of people. And I understand that, it's just different levels to this shit, y'all. It's different levels, there's different realms, and again, the main thing is, for those people that are looking for exclusivity, and I mean honestly, like, even if it's not exclusivity, I still think that a woman and a man that are fucking should be friends as well. They should if you can't really trust a person that you're fucking, why are you really fucking them? Oh, because they're hot. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you don't really trust them, anyway. I'm not gonna make this live too much longer. I'm about to get off because I didn't really intend on making this live too long. This was just something that I was thinking about because I had watched the channel earlier today, and it just kind of made me think, a lot of women, they're complaining about men not approaching, men not wanting to be in relationships, and then the men are complaining, saying that, women are kind of undateable, and they don't want to date, and vice versa, and I think that's what relationships today are missing. It's missing that. It's missing the what's supposed to actually magnetize the two sexes together, because sex is only that's the last result of all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, sex comes when it's supposed to come when y'all have some type of real connection, friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't just be sleeping with somebody because, oh, they got nice ass. I mean, yeah, you're going to notice that, but, okay, there's, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but, it's initially, that person, by being with them, they made you feel a certain way, that even made you want to have sleep with them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I think. You know, I see lots of attractive women all the time in public at my job, but it's like, would I fuck them? Maybe, but like I'm not really magnetized and drawn to fuck them. You know, I feel like me personally, I gotta be comfortable with somebody enough to want to fuck them. Like if you're a bitch and you're a really mean woman or lady, I'm probably not gonna want to sleep with you because it's kind of a turn off. Even if you're really pretty, like I don't think you're a nice person. Therefore, I don't want to stick my dick inside of you. You're not nice. You're a fucking bitch. You're mean. You're a mean person. You're very mean. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to fuck that. If I'm fucking a mean bitch, like, am I going to kind of be like taking that onto me in some kind of way? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. Or if you're just somebody that's not very trustworthy, you're a liar, you're a person that lies, you're manipulative, you know, you're kind of scheming, you're lying to people, you're kind of running game. You know, you're a gold digger. You like, you know, you just like to just use men for money, even if you just bad, like, even if you just fine as fuck. I've seen women that are fine as fuck, but they just kind of had that air about them. I'm like, oh man, you look cute, but it's just something about you. I just can't. The body look good, the face look good, the shell look good, but it's something about your spirit. I can't touch you. For real, like I'm dead ass. Some guys they don't care. They'll fuck a fucking witch. But me personally, if there's something about you I can't trust, I don't know what it is about you. But when I try to get close to you in that way, like it does not feel good. You know. So anyway, I'm gonna end this here. Hope y'all have a great Wednesday. I am very excited because I will be again going to the beach this weekend, and I'm going to enjoy my 7 days. I got a condo, so I'm more than likely will take some videos. I plan on taking my 360 camera while I'm riding around. Bike week is going to be going on, so I plan on getting some footage while I'm out there. So, you know, might get a little bit of footage, might get some motorcycle footage riding, you know, around the beach area. And just take a little while to, you know, unwind and relax because I've been kind of busting my ass here lately. And it's just kind of me celebrating, you know, getting my CDL after I get back from the beach shortly after. I'm supposed to ship out to Chicago to do orientation at a trucking company shortly after. So going to be, you know, starting that journey. So I was just taking a little time to take a vacation, kind of decompress, and then get back to it and get to the money. Because after I get back, I'm going to be going for like 5 to 6 weeks between orientation and training, where I can get to the point to where the company releases me on my own to drive. So I got that, got that challenge coming up, cause just gotta be ready basically. So a lot coming up. I do plan on after I get used to, after I get trained up and everything, after I get my dog in my truck with me, Mojo. After the company releases me in my own truck, I do plan on getting some meta glasses where I can kind of do some live streaming, while I'm driving, like I'm doing right now, just kind of like make some different content, some truck driving content, be traveling the country, making different stops, just kind of bringing y'all the few viewers I do have. For the ones of y'all that have stayed here and kind of chime in, I do appreciate y'all. I don't get very many viewers, but the ones I do have, like at a time for judgment, normally when I do live streams, they'll chime in, no comments. So I will be doing some of that soon. I'm just gonna wait until I get comfortable behind the wheel, and they will be. I'll be they'll be hands free. It'll be a hands free recording with me wearing the glasses, recording, me on my, drop me going into like, truck stops and stopping and just kind of traveling around, basically walking, talking in first person, like a vlog, basically. I think that'll be pretty fun. Something different for this channel. Again, I'm not necessarily even really trying to really grow this channel because YouTube is not something that I do for like money. It's just a hobby. It's just like for me, it's just more of like I don't want to call it a diary because diaries is what women keep, but it's like a journal. It's kind of the same thing, but it's just basically like a vlog, basically. Something that kind of says who I am, that lets me express my thoughts, my feelings, how I see life in the world, kind of philosophize a little bit, and then go and live my life. I enjoy doing that. It gives me a way to kind of get stuff out, and anyone that finds value in that, or finds wisdom in that in any way, whether negative or positive, that's great too. So yeah, I want to end this live here. I appreciate, I got 2 likes, looks like, whoever that is. I appreciate your interaction. Again, at a time for me, Judgment 23, I appreciate your dialogue and interaction. Until next time, y'all have a great Wednesday. Peace.